Good morning, everyone, or maybe good night. I'm not so sure what time it is where you are, but it is always a great time to be watching Speedrun Ragnarok. I'm Sergeant Muggs, and I'm hosting during this run of Puzzle Bobble, starring the amazing TokuHer0. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is TokuHer0. I will be your runner and commentator for this run of Puzzle Bubble today. If this game looks familiar to some people, you might know it by another name, Bust a Move. This is a bubble shooter matching style game, and we're going to be playing the versus computer category today. I saw some clamor in the chat. Just want to double check. We made hard mode?
Yeah, I'll start out by reading two donations. We have $100 from Cloudy1 who says, "Let's bobble." And we also have $93 from Scythe Marshall who says, "You do good work. Sorry for being last minute about it." And with that, we have met the $200 goal to play on hard mode today.
All right. Thank you very much for your donations in support of take this. The game is showing kind of the tutorial as going here, but just especially because we're playing on hard mode, just really quickly, I'm going to kind of go over the basic mechanics of this game because once we get going, I kind of won't have a lot of time to go into it. So the game will generate this field of bubbles here, and what I want to be doing is matching groups of 3 or more to pop those bubbles from off the screen. Where the versus category comes into this is you'll notice on the right-hand side of the screen, I have an opponent on there. And how you win this, actually, well, I guess a better way to say it, how you lose is you have the bottom of your screen past the line that's horizontal line there. If you send over bubbles like that by dropping it after you match it, this will send it over as garbage onto the other side of the opponent's board. So you can use this in such a way that you can gray out your opponent just like that. So the goal of the versus mode category is to do this through all the stages as quickly as possible here. And so in the normal and hard mode, we'll be doing this through 3 bosses today. So just before we get started, and I apologize for everybody's ears if my controller wants to cooperate here. So I will be putting forward a little donation drive from our donation challenge for myself here. Wow, my bumper really doesn't want to cooperate. Good thing I don't use this throughout the run much. All right, and feel free to donate along in any way you can. If you are able, please make sure you guys can take care of yourselves first. That is the most important thing. So I will be starting this game after I accept the first credit. I'll have 50 credits on screen. I will be donating $1 for every credit still remaining at the end of the run. I will also donate $5 for every continue I have to use over the course of the run. If by some miracle I accomplish what is known as a 1 credit clear on versus hard, I will double my initial $50 to $100 to donate towards Take This. And I welcome everyone to donate any way they can if you want to donate for continuous or what have you. But let's go ahead and get this run started. We will go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty, so our first stage is against Monster here, and so Monster uses what is known as basically a standard layout. The bubbles are just set across in rows. There's not really any funky patterns or anything that you have to use to play around with to get where you're going. It's kind of meant to be an intro stage to ease you into the game, but because this is hard mode, difficulty is going to ramp up much quicker compared to normal mode. And actually, even on hard mode, even for the first boss of the game, I do actually have to play somewhat seriously against Monster. It's not likely, but I have lost to him before. Because we have stuff like that happen. Oh, that's dangerous. Yep, there went the 1 credit clear chain. Oh, that went considerably quicker than I thought it would. Alright, that's one continue though. So yeah, but that's the basic premise of the game here. So there's a couple of different strategies and mindsets that we can use when we go about playing game here. There's you can kind of build up a large stack of garbage, or rather, I guess, bubbles to try and send over for your attack garbage, or you can try and send like a bunch of like little chains over and just keep pressing the attack here. Doing this category fast is kind of striking a balance that's a constant juggling act between all of these moving pieces. That should be good right there. And with that, we're past our first stage. So next we have Paki. Paki has is our first instance of a gimmicky stage. You'll notice that we have kind of a funky pattern going on here, but I actually find the gimmicky stages to be slightly easier than the standard layout stages, just because it's a little bit easier for me to kind of set up what I want to do for drops and such like that. There, I have to do less work because there's more holes in the board, as it were. All right. This little pink fluff ball is Wulin. Don't let the fluffiness fool you. She is an absolute nightmare if you're trying to do PB attempts in this game. She is actually one of the first gatekeepers of the run in part, and the difficulty of the opponents in this game actually is a kind of a two-part balance of where you are in the run, like what stage you are, as well as the kind of the setup of the stage itself there. This was actually a very good stage 3 against Wulin, just because it's not uncommon for just kind of a flood of garbage to just come out of nowhere from the AI. But here on Picard, we have another standard layout stage. Nothing too different from what I did earlier with Monsters. So, Mugs, if you have anything you need to plug, or if some donations came in, feel free.
Sure, I'll make a plug for you. As you know, Toku has set this awesome donation goal for himself, and if you would like your own way to continue to support Take This, they have a Patreon at patreon.com/takethisorg, where you can pledge your support on a monthly basis. If a monthly subscription isn't your thing, you can support Take This through Amazon Smile. For those of you that don't know, the Amazon Smile program collects a portion of money you buy things on Amazon and goes towards charities. In our case, Take This.
Yes, multiple ways to help raise money for a good cause. Thank you very much for any support you guys can give. So here on Garanyo, this is kind of another example of the stage is kind of our enemy just as much as the AI is. By about Picard on hard difficulty, the game is actually starting to ramp towards its highest difficulty there. So there's kind of not a whole lot you can do about certain things there, but it's the best thing you can do is just kind of keep plugging away at it. Garanyo is actually an example of a boss that will go down either really, really quickly, or you'll be in for a little bit of a long haul here. Though that little sparkly looking bubble there, those are what we refer to as star bubbles, and what they do is that if you match a bubble on them, they get rid of all bubbles on the same color of the screen. So those are actually really helpful if you can quickly identify what bubbles you need to drop. I think one of the best ways I've ever heard this described was actually by Japanese members of our community. I can't recall who said it. I believe it was Poshi who said this in an interview with Shino, another one of our Japanese runner, is that you basically have a quarter second to analyze the stage, and then another quarter second to figure out where your shot's gonna go. So within that first half a second of a stage loading, you kind of have to figure out what your plan of attack is and where your best options to try and go for a quick kill are. Some patterns are easier to do this with than others. Chun-Chun, that was Chun-Chun. This is Kilgon. He is basically a giant talking rock walnut thing. That is the best way I can describe it. But here, what I'm kind of trying to do is kind of open myself up to that star bubble there. Not hitting my shots, unfortunately, though, so that's a little unfortunate there. And then that was a little bit risky on my part to do. So one of the things I am trying to be careful of is I don't want to make myself dependent on one single color. Color droughts are very much a frequent problem in Puzzle Bobble 2, much more than they were in Puzzle Bobble 1. Alright, and now we come to the true gatekeeper of the run, Maita. Maita, this ghost is... oh boy. If I can get a run on PB Pace past Maita, it's a good day, because Maita tests your ability to shoot to bank shot, and that is actually the weakest thing that's my weakest skill in this game. Another thing to make note of that Maita is a really good example of is that the stages when they first load in are mirrors of each other. So, like I mentioned before in that first half a second when I'm analyzing the stage, you know, if I see a good opportunity to attack that I can send garbage over to my opponents, that same opportunity exists on my opponent's board, and so it's a race against time for me to get to those shots before the computer does. That was a very, very good stage there. I don't know how I managed to hold on to that. But Bobble is another standard layout stage here, so this is another great opportunity for, you know, either more plugs for upcoming incentives, anything, or any donations that came through.
Yeah, absolutely. The run after this, as Shala said, the run after this now is going to be the Occupants, and our next incentive is $200 to show off the beta version of the game after the run. It has been shown that you can meet a $200 incentive pretty easily, so get to it, guys. In the meantime, a reminder that our official merch shop is back again with a wider selection of items than previously. We have tees, hoodies, and tanks again, and also football jerseys, baseball tees, and face masks. We also have a limited edition logo series exclusive for this year. As always, of course, profits go directly to TokuHer0.
Here, definitely want to check some of that merch out. I saw some really nice looking stuff in there. I really need to go see if there's something like a shirt or something that I can go pick up after this. Everything's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. No reason to panic yet. This is Puzzle Bobble. Everything's fine until it isn't. Yeah. Oh, that's a little bit of an unfortunate miss, but that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, so you might be looking at the estimate and wondering why is the estimate so high when I'm on now stage 10 of 12 and we're less than 10 minutes in. This game can troll you in ways that I didn't think was possible before I started playing it. It is not an exaggeration where I once spent 5 minutes on one character stage on a no reset run. And I've had that happen on 3 separate bosses on many different occasions, so the estimate is generous to account for just the unlikelihood of that happening there. But Chokinta here is actually not that hard of a stage. Chokinta's stage layout actually lends itself really well for quick kills like that there. And now we come to the penultimate boss of the game, and actually even on the Nintendo Switch version, which I'm currently playing on, lag implications are a thing that I need to be concerned about. So as you'll notice with the giant mechanical robot over there, that is a very big sprite model that is taking up a decent chunk of the screen. You'll also notice that the bubble shooter is a very large metal cannon. You'll also notice that all of these bubbles have particle effects going on in them. If I take too long, all of these things will start adding up and the game will start lagging in ways that can disrupt my shots. Some of these things range from just bubbles as harmless as bubbles taking longer to go up the screen to something as detrimental as my pointer just massively overcorrects and shoots something a good 45 degrees away from where I actually wanted to shoot it. So especially on these final levels, it's a very big juggling act of making sure that I can shoot fast while also making sure that I'm accounting for lag. But like I mentioned, there's a lot of moving parts there that just are a bunch of hamsters are running at full blast in my head at all times as I'm looking through this game. So finding the optimal action through at any given one point is like constant, act of adapting. And so the robot explodes and reveal the actual final villain, Dreg. Dreg cheats. Dreg, when he sends over garbage, sends over bonus garbage because he's the villain, and of course. And if that name sounds weird, fun fact: in Japanese, his name is Dorank. That is exactly what it sounds like, and so Dreg is just the localization team doing their best not to make the reference. Yeah, and this is just Dreg doing Dreg things. Actually, hit that shot. Nope, that's unfortunate. But this is the last stage here, so we will be wrapping this up as quickly as I can. I just need to make sure that I stay on top of my game and get just not hit my shots, don't miss, and just keep calm. All right, let's see what can we do here. Oh, that was not even lag. That was me just mashing too quickly. But I think we'll be okay. The last few bosses definitely are ones where it's better to kind of send small amounts of garbage more frequently than it is to try and find like one big chain of thing, just because that can come spiraling back on you just as easily. Oh, that was an unfortunate miss. That's all right. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and send that purple over. But yeah, so since I've been going, I've got time here. Here, I'll just go ahead. I want to thank the Valkyries for giving me the opportunity to run this game for you folks today. As someone who is introverted and also has some anxiety issues, I fully appreciate organizations like this providing quiet spaces where we can just get away from hustle and bustle of things like that. I fully believe in making sure that you're taking care of yourself both physically and mentally. And so oh, there we go, and time. Yeah, sometimes we you just get lucky like that, and that kind of stuff just sneaks up on you there. So, and now that we've beaten Dreg, the actual plot of the game itself. So Dreg English. Dreg had his minions steal all the stars out of the sky, so we went on a journey to beat them all up, and now all the stars that they've been freed from Dreg will now just float back into the sky. Yes, Puzzle Bobble has an actual story. Do they explain this to you anywhere? No. Alrighty, but as I'm looking through this here, so we've got ourselves 45 credits still left in the machine, as it were. So that's $1 per, and then another 25 for the continues. So that will be $70 that I will be donating to take this. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you actually, I encourage people to run this game. This is actually for a puzzle game. This is actually a very, very good game to start with. Because it's all just down to making sure that you can aim your shots properly. Analyzing the board will come with experience and time. But I mean, like for example, for my example of this, when I first played Puzzle Bobble 1, my first timed run for any percent was 50 minutes, almost an hour. Over the course of a month, I've brought that down from 50 minutes to I think 20 within the next week, and over the course of a month, I brought that down to now, I think, under 15, somewhere around the 12-minute range. Let me double check my PB, actually. I should have this memorized. I don't for some reason. Yeah, so my current PB is sub 15 in Puzzle Bobble 1. Puzzle Bobble 2, the versus modes, I started at 15 minutes for those ones there, and now I am one of 2 runners in the world that have under 7-minute times for the versus computer category. So if you want to play this game, I highly encourage you pick it up. Puzzle Bobble 1 and 2 are available on the Nintendo which in the eShop, I want to say last time I looked at it, they were like $8, so really cheap to pick up. And if you're interested in learning this game as a speed run, we recently merged the Puzzle Bobble and Bust a Move communities. They were actually separated partly due to the naming differences. So we're a small community, but we have runners in there, and we're always looking for new runners. But yeah, with that, that's everything I've had. So again, thank you to the Valkyries. Thank you, to all of the volunteers, the restreamers, hosts. Mugs, thank you for joining me for this run. Appreciated you having you here supporting.
Yeah, thank you guys all for the love in the chat for Toku and the great run. Toku, thank you not only for showing us the great game, but also for your generous donation. And of course, thank you everyone who is watching. The audience makes the marathon, makes it a show, So I think that's it for us and for Puzzle Bobble.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.